Hello everybody, welcome to 2CTV, your global news channel. We have some breaking news coming from Iran and Israel as we are now getting reports of clashes across the country in Iran. The air defense system of the Islamic Republic has been activated and it's all seems to be kicking off. The regime have also deployed their troops. They have increased the number of checkpoints on the streets in major cities, including the capital in Tehran. There are reports of drone attacks as well, and we are also getting confirmation from the Israeli Air Force in terms of, and Israeli Defense Forces in general, in terms of an interception just outside the Israeli territory. We're going to give you guys all the details as it happens. First things first, the Iranian regime earlier tonight managed to bring out a small group, a few thousand people, to do a victory celebration in their Revolution Square. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show you a video from that because it's kind of embarrassing and funny. And of course, we're going to get your reaction live. First things first, let's talk about what's happening on the ground as we speak in Iran. The IRGC have deployed their Basijis. These are the paramilitary group wing of the IRGC across the streets to operate checkpoints, obviously as the fears of uprising escalates. What they're currently doing is they are checking people's cars and people's phones to see whether they oppose the regime, and once they find the evidence, then they are arrested and they are essentially labeled as Mossad agents. So anybody who protests against the regime in Iran is essentially a Zionist, according to the Islamic Republic. So while that's going on, we started getting a number of updates from across the country. Firstly, in terms of the air defense system being activated, the first reaction from the regime was, don't worry, we're just doing some training in multiple places. Then the whole thing escalated and we started hearing gunfire and gunshots, and then the regime basically responded, no comment. They're not really responding to any of that. First, let's go to the gunfire. Shots being heard in Shiraz, in the central southern part of the country. Let's go to that video. So there's been a lot of speculations about the armed forces and a number of people part of the armed forces, the military, who may have defected to the revolutionary side. But of course, we're still waiting to see what sort of action they're going to take. Now, let's not forget, this is not every single person in the military. There will be some people in the military who have defected, but of course, the rest of the IRGC will be fighting against them. Now, while that's going on, this was confirmed again. Initially, the reaction from the Iranian regime was, we're just doing some training. And then they basically said, when the number of places with the air defense system being activated increased, they said, yeah, we don't actually know what's going on. Tehran, Hamadan, and Shiraz were the first three cities that got the reports of the air defense being completely activated. Then we found out what's actually happening. Let's go. So essentially, the confirmation that we now have from the Iranian state media themselves and Reuters, confirmation that there are drones. There are a number of drones. The first reports confirmed in Tabriz, which is in the northwest of Iran. The drones are being targeted by the Iranian air defense system. From here onwards, we started getting more updates over the last few hours and minutes. Well, actually, a few minutes. Everything's happening so quickly. Hamadan is yet another area that is getting reports of interceptions. Now, we don't know where these drones are coming from. So there's a bit of a mystery right now. Whether this is Israel doing it, no confirmation, because there's a ceasefire, right? Whether this is the Mossad operatives who are currently still in Iran and they have some leftover drones, whether these are the revolutionaries, and of course some of them might be the armed forces who have access to these sort of things. We don't know who is doing this, but the drones have been confirmed. Hamadan. Now, meanwhile, according to the Israelis, we now have confirmation, if I could show this to you guys quickly, there has been a drone that's been launched towards Israel, apparently from Iran. According to the statement we've now received from the Israeli Air Force, this is what they said. The Air Force intercepted 2 unmanned aerial vehicles or drones earlier this evening that were heading towards the country's territory, likely from Iran. The interceptions were carried out outside the country's territory. Alerts were activated in open areas in accordance with policy. So what is happening inside Iran is one thing, because we don't know exactly who is responsible. It could be Israel from the outside. Unlikely, because they would have made an announcement. It could be some of the Mossad assets and operatives on the ground who have some leftover drones. It could be the revolutionaries. It could be the armed forces who have defected, right? We don't know who is doing that in Iran. Iran aside, well, what we know is that Israel is being attacked, and that is definitely the violation of the ceasefire. Now, who else would be targeting Israel in the middle of all this mess? Somalia? Syria? That is currently, by the way, the Israeli government and the Syrian government are going to start official formalization of the normalization talks between the two countries. Who else, right? Now, we don't really have evidence that it was definitely the Islamic Republic, but the drone was coming that way. So that's also technically a mystery, but we are getting more reports now in terms of clashes in Tehran, the capital, and other cities. Let's go to the next video we've just received from Iran.
پادگان نصره.
Someone in the live chat said, well, maybe the drones were coming from Yemen. The Houthis don't have access to drones that could come all the way from Yemen. And also the Israeli Air Force and the media in Israel are confirming that the drones are coming from the east, not from the south. It was stopped just outside, basically around Syria and Golan Heights. So that's what's going on. It's clearly coming from either Iraq or Iran. And Iraq, of course, that also has the IRGC militias. It's going to be one of those two territories that is happening. We're also getting confirmation of clashes in the north of Iran, in the city of Rasht, of all places as well. So let's quickly go and see what we are. These are all in the middle of the night, so it's quite dark. Let's go to Rasht. So yeah, the guy in the video confirmed their time and the date, saying 2 a.m. in the city of Rasht, and of course the 3rd of Tir, which is obviously the Iranian calendar. Meanwhile, the Israeli Defense Forces Chief of Staff, Eyal Zamir, has now said, just came out to confirm, that the campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran is not over. Despite the ceasefire, the Israelis do not consider this matter closed. The conflict is not over. It's simply a ceasefire. This is not a peace deal between the two countries. So take that as what you will. It doesn't really necessarily mean that the Israelis have proactively and publicly launched these attacks on Iran right now. It could be anybody. It could be the Israelis helping others do it in Iran. Mossad could be helping the revolutionaries, or it could just be the revolutionaries themselves doing it. now we also now get the confirmation that the Iran's enriched uranium stockpile has mostly been moved before the US strikes on Fordo and the other two nuclear sites. The New York Times and of course CNN, they received these intel leaked documents from the US government that suggests that the Islamic Republic's nuclear program has actually not been destroyed, which means that they can bring it back within only a few months, which means that obviously right now Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon are not too happy about this. They're saying, well, I don't know what this report is saying. As far as we know, we destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities. But firstly, the Islamic Republic reported earlier today that they have moved everything, or well, many things, and also they will be restarting their program anyway. They don't really care. They will be enriching uranium, regardless of whatever happened over the last week or so. They haven't learned their lessons. So none of this has been eliminated, apparently. And even if it was, they're going to be restarting it from scratch regardless. So that is not really helping this ceasefire idea. What we don't know, in the middle of all this, and this is the most important part of what's happening tonight, for the record, in case you haven't been aware, we are still trying to find out where a very specific person is currently tonight. Ali Khamenei. Where is he? Nobody knows where the supreme leader of Iran is right now. Well, we have heard absolutely nothing from himself, from his close team, his headquarters, essentially. So, and I'm trying to see. Yes, the last time Ali Khamenei posted on social media, or his account on X, was 23 hours ago. Over 23 hours, which is extremely rare for him or his team not to post, especially today. What's happened today, guys? There was a ceasefire that was imposed on all sides by President Trump. The Iranian regime started celebrating, saying we won. If you are celebrating, where is your supreme leader? Khamenei should come out right now and say, we won, perfect, look at me, I'm alive. Even if he's not going to do it in person, okay, he or his team could have posted on X. They love posting on X regularly. Where is Ali Khamenei? Now, that's happening. A small group of IRGC supporters were brought out. These are basically the members of the IRGC and their family members. And it was so embarrassing. They brought them in the central part of Tehran, in the Engelab Square, which is the Revolution Square. And they only managed to bring in a few thousand people. I've had more people at my first birthday party than this embarrassing situation. Watch, look at them. Jeremy Corbyn and Bernie Sanders have managed to bring out more people. So they are claiming the whole point of this propaganda was that these are Iranian people. The Iranians have come out to celebrate against Israel. And they've only managed to bring out a few thousand. That's why the camera angle had to stay in one place. Back in the day, when they had more people, they used to bring out the helicopters, show the whole street, like the Houthis in Yemen. You remember when the Houthis have a rally in Yemen with their friend Jackson Hinkle? They bring out the helicopters, the drones. Oh, look at it, look at the big crowd. This is embarrassing. Where are your people? Now, having said that, they are continuing with their propaganda. As I said, the checkpoints that they've created, they are arresting a lot of people. Unfortunately, I can't get into the details of, let's just say, my family members right now, but some of the people that we know. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of arrests, okay? That's all I can say. A lot of people have been arrested. And what they are doing is, if the moment they find out you oppose the regime, you are labeled a Mossad agent, okay? Everybody is a Mossad agent. Now, there are definitely Mossad agents on the ground, but not everybody is Mossad. So the Iranian media have done this propaganda again, showing that security forces have uncovered all these explosives and guns and everything else from the people who they've arrested, and apparently everybody's an Israeli spy. Watch this, we got subtitles.
خمپار اسپاک، نارنجک و فشنگ جنگی، بمب ساعتی و مواد منفجره و ریز پرنده ها. اینها را پلیس از عوامل موساد در تهران کشف کرده. دستگیر شده ها 6 نفرند که به گفته خودشان هر کدام مأموریت خاصی را انجام میدادند.
That's the next step, by the way. This is the routine in the Islamic Republic. So what they'll end up doing now, they're going to get confessions from these guys, and they're going to film the confessions, which is by force and a lot of torture. And they're going to say, look, the Zionist spies themselves are confessing to their crimes. And they're going to give them all these scenarios. They'll force them to say it. And this happens. And then, of course, then at the end, they're going to hang them. And apparently the whole world is okay with this. There's no violation of human rights. Apparently, there's no issue with the United Nations is quiet, the ICC, the ICJ, the European Union, NATO, the President of the United States, everybody's fine with it. They're all backing the Islamic Republic right now. You know, they threw them a lifeline, everything is fine. Let's just move on. Whatever happens to the Iranian people, whatever happens to Israel being attacked, don't worry about it. Let them do it. The Iranian regime starting nuclear again today, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, the Israelis are now saying that what they're trying to find out is whether the IAEA, the atomic agency, could ever figure out where the Iranian regime have moved their enriched uranium. The IAEA chief, Grossi, has now said his agency does not know where Iran's nearly 900 pounds of enriched uranium has been moved. It's been we don't know where it is. What they know is it hasn't been destroyed. So everything is fine. Everything seems to be okay as usual. All right, we'll find out about these clashes in Iran. Let's get some reaction from you guys in the live chat. Then the members of TCTV Plus. Mustard says daily dose of free tea. Leaked White House documents saying Fordo site survived. Yes, as we reported. Of course, Pete Hegseth is denying that. Hello, Maya. I knew the troops would come out. Now they need to join the people of Iran and bring home Reza Pahlavi. Well, if the reports and the rumors are true that the clashes is because of those who defected, well, that there could be opportunity. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to see how this uprising could succeed against these animals. Can we stop insulting the toilets? No. Who would you guess is actually running now? Well, I think, the council is running Iran. This is the Supreme National Security Council. This is basically the council of the supreme leader, right? But these guys, I mean, some of them are already dead anyway. Ali Khamenei, we don't know where he is. But these people, they're also replacements of the previous people. They're not necessarily professional. So I'm not really sure if any of them will have the capability. For example, there's a skill set that Ali Khamenei as a dictator developed over the last few decades. Brilliant. He's a very good dictator. He's very good at being a tyrant. He's on top of everything. He kept an eye on everybody, even his own staff, his own allies and partners. He knows how to be a good tyrannical dictator. It's not an easy job to do. But not everybody is as good at that. I mean, you saw what happened in Gaza with Hamas. You took out the main leaders, everybody fell apart. Because every replacement, or Hezbollah, all the new leaders of Hezbollah, they don't know what they were doing. So we'll find out exactly who is running this show. That is air defense fire. We need the military to openly side with the people instead of the regime. But that's the thing. And also, you only need a few people from the military. You don't need the whole of the military. Because there will be still some people in the military who are pro-IRGC. But the rest of them, obviously, they just care about the country. They're just part of the armed forces. Now, Terry says, Tutsi, I think Trump has let down the Iranian people. I'm still trying to see if there is some sort of next move that we don't know about, but it's now been almost a day. We'll find out. Yes, super sticker. Akash says that I wonder why no one is talking about this syringe attacks in France music festival, where is European countries heading. Europe is so doomed. Wake up, all. Yeah, Europe is dead, unfortunately. I bet anything. He died or they assassinated him. Oh, it could potentially be very, very unwell. He could be very ill, and considering he does have cancer and maybe in the bunker he hasn't been able to get access to his medication, regular medications, and also the stress and the fear that he could die any moment, and also his old age, combine all that, he might just be very, very ill and not be able to actually function. Right. We're getting more information soon about the drone attack from Iran onto Israel, which was about an hour ago. Confirmed. Khomeini dead. Khomeini died ages ago. 1989. Good joke. To see just how I feel on Iran from What News Watch. David says Khomeini coming out with a rainbow turban. Yes, imagine. Hope all family is going to be okay in Iran. Hopefully. Khomeini spotted at bull ring meeting his creator. Got a lot of there's regular super chats coming in. Khomeini is a different guy. Meeting his maker soon. Okay. Have faith in God, Maya. Yep. All right. MT says, so all we did was show off our B2s and made Israel ceasefire in the middle of winning. Yeah, embarrassing. Whoever is advising the president on this needs to go. It made no sense. None of it made sense, this ceasefire. There was a lot of progress and Israel was winning. If the whole thing was being dragged on or Israel was struggling, that would have made a lot of sense. You know, but none of that made sense. What happened last night with the White House enforcing a ceasefire. The reason a president should act with dignity is so that in situations like this, they can come before the people and say, we need to do hard things, and have the people believe them. Instead, we have had Biden and Trump. Well, it's difficult to get strong leaders these days to actually do the tough things, because obviously everybody's worried about the approval ratings. Maya, did you know Corbyn once worked for Press TV? Yeah, he was getting paid £2,000 per appearance per day. 2,000, 3,000, £2,000, yeah. Even if all the centrifuges were finished, which are not, they will continue refining, yeah, using twin turbo upright washing machines like your granny used to have. Yeah, I mean, probably not, but yeah. Would Israel stop if he's still alive? I don't know. The nuclear situation shouldn't be underplayed. The thing is that the threat from the Islamic Republic is not really just even nuclear. It's the existence of the Islamic Republic. With the whole deal with the export of terrorism and Islamism and everything else and all the proxies, that itself is a threat, everyday threat. But apparently the issue is just nuclear. Obviously, nuclear is one of the main problems, but it's not the only problem. Even if you had destroyed the nuclear facilities, does not necessarily mean the Islamic Republic are now going to be nice puppies. Friendly. Any chance a ceasefire is a smokescreen by Trump and Bibi to keep things quiet while Trump is at the NATO summit? That's an interesting point. That they both know that is not finished. Keep up the great work. Well, that's a very, very fair theory, Karen. Absolutely. Considering that, of course, there's a lot of conversations at the summit about Russia and Ukraine. And while you have all those things to deal with, imagine if Iran was still on the table, right, as a topic. It would have been a distraction for the issue of Ukraine and Russia. And also the battle that President Trump has with the NATO allies when it comes to defense spending. So you could make this argument, but not really just this alone. There could be a number of factors. You know, I mean, doing this whole ceasefire just for the NATO summit, maybe just not for that, but there could be other factors, including, for example, the disappearance of Khomeini, that they could just think, well, he might be dead or he might be really unwell. Now we could maybe, if we stop, we could allow the people in Iran and the armed forces to rise up. Maybe. The only thing that I can say after sleepless nights, go on Iranian people. They need the dragons. Europe is dead. We need a stern defense force to reverse it. The amount of anti-European culture going on is insane, says Mustard. They base living on little virgins once dead. Yeah, they love the virgins. Tusi trolls the trolls, so I don't have to. Yeah, that's my job. America will always have Israel's back. Apart from the last few decades. Bibi must not stop for both countries and ignore Trump's base pressuring him and Trump's Nobel Peace Prize goal. Yeah, he's been nominated now. That's going to be funny. New Hamas leaders learned how to take a last breath. That's the only thing they learned. I hope Trump is playing a double bluff game. Yeah, just give it another few days, I guess, to find out what's going on. Wondering about Iran, are they military weak? And if so, where is the threat? Or is Iran showing restraint, holding back for? I don't know what that means, but the Iranian, well, we've already seen how weak and feeble the Iranian defense was against Israel. The army was nowhere to be seen. Nobody knew exactly what was going on. They couldn't control anything. They all got eliminated. They couldn't even keep their own leaders safe. But they have a lot of terrorists. So I'll make it make sense. US politics operates in a 4-year cycle. Well, it's the same with any democracy. That's the same problem we have in Europe. Politicians look short-term, just till the next election. Long-term strategy, no such thing. We are allergic to that. It's not just an American problem. This is why, for example, compared to China, President Xi doesn't have to worry about votes, so you could just make a plan for the next 20 years. Some of his plans could be good, some of his plans could be tyrannical and disgusting, because he's a communist. Don't believe the propaganda. Trump isn't done. Says Kat. Starmer, do we still need to de-escalate? Yeah, that's all he can say. Anyone check Bradford or Glasgow for Khomeini? Khomeini, that's a new one. Imagine. And we got Daniel as well as Laurie Burr saying, Ambassador of Iran says at the United Nations that they are a peaceful nation, yet they scream death to America and Israel. They lie. They are terrorists. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. All right, let's quickly go to the members of 2C TV Plus on our chat forum. What is happening with you guys? AFC Manicare says, from ceasefire to all-out war in just a few hours. The Middle East is bloody insane. Well, this is what's happening tonight is not necessarily Israel versus Iran. I mean, Iran might have attacked Israel, but what's going on in Iran is a civil war, is an internal conflict. So it's from ceasefire to civil war, basically, which is kind of fun. Crazy times. All right. Do you think that the Iranian regime will collapse, or will they crack down and become a North Korea? Well, I've been saying the same thing for the past 2 days now, repeating myself in every live stream. But if the uprising fails, then yes, the Iranian regime will go full China, especially after the 1980s, when they successfully cracked down on everybody. And look at it now. Look at China now. Full control, total state control on everyone. Not just North Korea. Just, you can see what's going on in China. Israel is officially ending its war footing following the ceasefire, and I'm still anxious. I can only imagine how you feel about when your father is stuck in Iran. As an Israeli, the importance of family is a core principle. I admire your composure in these trying times. I'm still not sure if your videos are a helpful coping mechanism. I'm not doing videos. This is a business that we have. It's a news channel. We have to report the news. Regardless of whatever happens, I will continue to do my job and report the news. Anyway, or fuel for an unhealthy addiction. Either way, keep up the important work. There's nothing, it's not some sort of hobby. It's the job, it's the duty that I have to the world. Praying for all citizens of Iran who want freedom from oppression, and praying for Israel to continue the fight for freedom and democracy. God blessings on his children around the world. Thank you very much. Yes. Another comment saying, there's a lot of big comments, essays. This is make or break moment, I agree. Rise up Iranians, the world is watching and praying for the fall of this evil regime. Well, we'll see what is the outcome of these clashes that we are seeing right now across the country. Hi Maya, Lisa says, I love your channel so much, I'm addicted. I don't understand how the IRGC says that they will continue with their nuclear program if Israel and the US destroyed everything. They didn't destroy it, that's the thing. I mean, Israel was hitting the IRGC sites, the US hit the nuclear sites, but they moved everything anyway. Do they plan to continue with it at home? No, they got secret facilities as well. Nobody has hit the secret nuclear facilities. Do you think they have more places? Yeah. Join 2TV Plus and put a like. Cheapskates. Love that. Thank you, Lisa. We got a number of other comments saying ceasefire, my patootie. Yeah, there will be no peace while the Islamic regime exists. Has there been any word on the bases in Iraq being targeted yesterday? There's been a de-escalation there. They handled it quite well, apparently. Despite what Tucker Carlson said, that there's going to be World War III. No World War III. Seems like the IRGC is trying to hold a command structure together. Yeah. They're struggling, but yeah. Trump publicly is taking a middle ground. However, true ninjas never tell you when they are coming, same as Mossad. The mainstream media has their public fooled. Iran will screw up the ceasefire and justify the next phase. Well, we also got the confirmation, I agree, got the confirmation from the IDF that they're not done with Iran. It's not over. It's just a ceasefire and they will return. Now, there is a couple of super chats here as well. I'm going to check to see if you have the latest updates for you guys. There is only last thing with Jesus, the Prince of Peace. Israel and Iran have the same doctrine of an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but Jesus say love your enemies as yourselves. Okay. What are they supposed to do besides send the troops? Who, the IRGC? Well, just a crackdown, I guess. There's not much else that they can do, really. They have to try to get their own terrorists in check to make sure everybody's united, and it's a very difficult thing to do. While, of course, the Iranian people are doing the uprising, and the potential armed forces members who have defected, we'll see what they're going to do. Because right now, what we are hearing, all these reports from multiple cities in Iran, the clashes have now been confirmed by the Iranian media and Reuters. Even if the entire population evacuated Iran, it still won't change the Islamic agenda and the government will still continue. Well, of course, if the whole country leaves Iran, then the Islamic Republic could just completely control the country. So, of course, they will continue, yeah. What will happen next? Yeah, we all want to know the same. Yeah. You have to admit we're the worst at it. Biden came in and undid everything the good Trump did in the first term. Then we had to start over, rinse, repeat. Yeah, I mean that's the federal system that you guys have. It does that all the time. I agree. Did anyone investigate those earthquakes? No. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to check to see if we have any quick breaking news from the clashes and the air defense being activated in Iran. Apparently, we're going to get a quick update from the Israelis. We'll wait for that shortly and let you guys know. But for now, subscribe to 2CTV if you haven't already. And don't forget to book your tickets to our new media conference, which will happen on the 9th of August in central London. The first international new media conference that we will be holding. All the details is on the website, 2cevents.tv. And the link is in the description. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.